I've already made several videos about different functions in WriterDuet, but this time I want to focus on the most important of them all, which is the actual writing. So let's look at how you can use WriterDuet's editor and formatting features to write your draft. One thing that you might already be aware of is that you can create several documents inside one WriterDuet project. A while back, that was restricted to the standard 3 documents, namely main document, title page, and private pad for free accounts. They seem to have opened that up a little bit because now you can create more documents even with a free account. I'm working on a free account here in this case, so at the time of this recording, it works, but I don't know if they will change that in the future. Anyway, the way the formatting features work in the program is always the same. I will show it to you with the example of a screenplay, but when you're using WriterDuet to write a book, it's even easier because you don't have so many different formatting elements. Let's take a look at the book template for a second. If you create a new document with the book template and then in the sidebar you click on the line types icon, you see that you have different formatting presets there, like headings, chapters, and so on. So all the rules that apply to using the screenplay formatting elements that we will look at in a second also apply here. It's just that the names might be a bit different. And of course, the formatting itself will be adapted to book formatting, not to screenplay formatting. But having gone through this video, you will easily be able to use all of these. Okay, so let's get back to the screenplay document. I'm assuming that you have basic knowledge of what the different screenplay formatting elements are and do and what their purpose is. If you don't, no problem. There is a video that explains it. If you're not sure what all these different scripts elements do, you can go and watch that first. So let's see now how you can actually do some writing in WriterDuet. When you create a new document, you see this empty page and it has one colored line. And that's the current line where your cursor is. Since there is nothing on the page yet, by logic, it's going to be the first line that is colored. Also, at the left side of the page, you see this little speech bubble. If you click this, you will get options for comments, revision history, and tagging. Don't worry about what all of this is right now. We'll look into that another time, but for now, just know that it's there because that speech bubble is going to be there with every element on that page you create, so you know from the start what it does. If you take now a look at the left side at the line types that we have available, you see that at the top it says scene, and that scene element is highlighted. That's because screenplays usually start with a scene heading element, so this is what WriterDuet gives you right from the start. If you now type in a scene heading and you hit enter, you jump to the next paragraph, and this is automatically an action element. You see the action element is now highlighted in the line types on the left. Many screenplay writing applications use the Enter and Tab keys to jump between the different formatting elements, and this also works here. If you write an action line, for example, and then hit Enter, the program jumps to the next action element. If you want to write a character name instead, just hit Tab, and the element changes to a character element. So that's one way you can go through the elements. You just write and use Enter and Tab to jump from element to element. Another way to do it would be to select these elements with your mouse. Just put your cursor inside the element you want to change and then choose another one from the list. But this might be a little bit annoying having to use your mouse every time when you want to change the element formatting. So what you can also do is use keyboard shortcuts. When you press the Command key on the Mac, Control key on the PC, you see that keyboard combinations appear next to the formatting elements. So instead of using the mouse to change them, you can easily just press the corresponding key combination to change one element to another. Now, you're familiar with the standard formatting elements in a screenplay: scene, action, character, parenthetical, dialogue, and so on. Now let's look at special elements for notes and structure. You have a note element here, or line type for that matter, that you can put directly on the page as its own line type. So if you choose note from the line types, this will create a note element that is not printed. So you can just add comments right here in your document, in your draft, that maybe give more explanation to something, or you can use them as placeholders to indicate where something still is missing or other things. There are other note functions in WriterDuet, like via the speech bubble that we took a brief look at, for example, but this note line item is just another way of putting notes in your draft. Then we have elements that can help you structure your draft, namely outline and sequence. What they do is they let you group elements together so you can get a better overview of what's going on the page. And the big difference is that outline is hierarchy-wise below scene headings, and sequence is hierarchy-wise above scene headings. Let's use outline first. If you create an outline element within your scene, you can collapse the content that follows this outline element until the next outline element. You see this little arrow at the left side of the outline? If you click that, you can hide and show all the elements that are under this outline element. You can do the same with scene, by the way. You can collapse scenes with the little arrow next to the scene heading. So back to outlines. You could, for example, hide all the elements that you don't want to see below these outline elements and just see the beats of your scene, for example, if that's what you want to call them. The same goes for a sequence, just that sequence is above scene headings in the hierarchy. Outline elements are bound to a scene in the same way as scenes are bound to sequences, if you're using them. So if you put in a sequence element, you see it also has this arrow at the side to swivel it open or close, but it is way up in the hierarchy, so it will hide entire scenes under it until the next sequence element appears in your draft. So these two, outline and sequence, let you structure your draft pretty easily, and it's a way to get away from the details of your scenes and just see the overview of your story, the broad strokes, so to speak. All right, we're almost done. Just a quick look at the rest of the line types you see there, but they're all pretty self-explanatory for the writers who need them. Text is just normal text for everything that you might need that hasn't a designated line type. New act and end act puts the centered line at the beginning or at the end of an act in television scripts. That just says Act 1 and end of Act 1 and so on. Then you have lyrics and images in case you need that. If you select image, it will let you select a media type and you just upload it. Very straightforward. Cast list is for sitcom writers. If you're a sitcom writer, you probably know how and where to put that. And then there is one final one that isn't used much, but when you need it, you need to know that it's there and how to use it. Dual dialogue. What it does is it puts two characters with their respective blocks of dialogue right next to each other on the page to indicate that they're speaking at the same time. It's very simple to use. If you choose the dual dialogue line type, you get two fields for character names and two fields for dialogue right next to each other on the page, and you practically just fill them out, and that's it. And at the bottom, you see some standard additional formatting tools like bold, italic, underline, and strike through. They work just like in any other writing application. Just select the text that you want to apply these to, and then select them. Just click on bold or italics. All right, that's basically how you write your script, book, short story, or whatever it might be in WriterDuet. And of course, you can change the formatting settings for your line types, but that would be too much to cover in this video. We've already looked at a lot of stuff. But just so you know where to find that, go to Customize, Format, and there under Line Types, you can choose the different line types from the drop-down and then just adjust the settings.